Hello, today I'm going to talk to you about my little vlogging camera, the Canon M50. Let's get into it. Hello everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Hello. So, I bought myself this, the little Canon EOS M50 last year. Well, it was about, what day? April. So it was just over a year ago. I came into some money, so I thought, why not just treat myself to a little vlogging camera that's going to stick around with me for quite a few years, because cameras tend to last, especially if you treat them well like I do. I treat them with a lot of respect. So this, I got the Canon M50 with the, was it 15 to 45 mm lens and the and the 22 mm f2, which is a really nice little lens. F2 on this thing is really nice. So my key thoughts on this camera is small, it's light, it's easy to just kind of sling in a bag. I've used this for just to replace my main camera, which I'm currently recording this on at the moment, which is a pain in the bum because I haven't got autofocus on this, so I've had to focus it, so apologies if I'm not in focus fully. So I mean, unfortunately it's what you get for art, isn't it? You have to suffer sometimes. So these hanging things are the Peak Design tabs for my Peak Design strap. I've got them on my big camera as well. I've also got my Peak Design capture plate on the bottom. There we go, you can see that. So that can just clip on my rucksack, so I can just lift it off and carry on vlogging. Obviously my microphone is on top of my camera at the minute. You've seen that, there's a video about that which I'll link up there. It's super exciting. So yeah, tilt your flippy screen. It's crop sensor, so really cool. One of the best things that I bought is this. So this is it's a EF to EOS M mount. So I can mount any of my lenses, 50mm, 1.4, with this, which takes it to around 85, I believe it is. Let's just check. Alexa, what is 50 times 1.6?
50 times 1.6 is
80. 80mm. So really nice on this little camera. Doesn't really add too much. It's just a little bit thicker with that. But majority of the time I just tend to use these nice lenses because they're compact. It's got quite a nice range, especially for vlogging. You get a little bit of that zoom in if you really want. So that's always quite helpful. Overall, I love this camera. It's not weather sealed, so I tend to treat it quite with respect, but I don't really do that much outdoors where I tend to get wet. He says I used to on my older videos when I used to go out and my phone was always wet and I was always wet feet, which I'll link to that video up there as well. There, goes up there, doesn't it? So that is my thoughts on the Canon M50. Love it, really great. I know Thomas Heaton's got one, and he still uses it, and he's got all sorts of cameras. He's got an X-T3 he uses for video and camera. He's got a Canon 5D Mark IV. He's got all that kind of stuff. He's got lots of money because he is a hell of a lot more popular on YouTube than I am, and he's got his own calendar, for Christ's sake. Oh, and this month's picture is insane. Lac de Chesseries in the Alps, I think. Yeah, incredible. I've pre-ordered his book, so that's exciting. And James Pops, this is actually his new one, 2019 book. I'm looking forward to get that hopefully at some point in the future. So now is the bit you've all been waiting for. Is this part when I'm actually going to tell you how this camera works. Kind of. The simple things, the little things that I've done. Now I know an old colleague of mine has just bought one of these, so this is for you, Gaz. So I follow the 180-degree rule. So what it should be is your shutter speed should be twice your frame rate. So I shoot in 24p, 24 frames per second. So I shoot in 1/50th of a second, so you get more realistic cinematic video, which is what this is recording in at the minute. And then you adjust everything else, like the ISO and your f-stop number, to kind of help with the exposure triangle. The exposure triangle, which you should know about if you know about cameras. You don't have to. You don't. You really don't. But it helps. So there's a few settings on this that you don't need to do, but it just makes it so much easier if you want to record video or anything like that on it. Some really, really easy settings, which I will go through with you right now. So let's do that. Right. So the first one is turning it from guided mode, which is annoying, to your standard mode, which is much better if you're used to using other cameras in the Canon range. If you're not, fine, but I find this much easier. So what you do, you go menu, and then you basically go to settings, and it gives you this option. So if you're in guided mode, it will give you this option. If you're not, you just find the display level settings in the actual settings. So you go to that, and then you just go standard, and it takes you to normal, conventional, Canon menus, which is the same as what it has on my 5D or a lot of other Canon cameras for that matter. So that is that bit. So once you set it to guided mode, it's best to, well, yeah, penis. So once you've set it to manual video mode, it's best to set it to this mode, which is the manual, movie manual exposure. So you can adjust everything. For some reason that's not right, so let's put that back to that. So that's now, yeah, 1/50th of a second, f3.5 for ISO 400. Obviously lenses on the side, so you can't actually see it or anything. So then you can adjust it, you can go into here, you can change a lot of the other stuff like your white balance, your focus mode, your different frame rates. So I'm recording in 1080p at 23.98p, which is 24 frames a second. You can do 4K, but the thing with 4K on this camera is you get quite a big crop, and I don't really want that. So it just reduces, you're already on the crop body, so why crop it down even more? And I don't need 4K. Who needs 4K? So yeah, I mean, you could have 8K like on this bad boy, but sadly not. So the next thing is probably my favourite change which I did to this camera, which I found online actually. I didn't know it could do this, which is probably one of my favourite things. So all you need to do is go into your menu. So if you're anywhere else, just click menu down there. Just click menu, just there, move it back over. You can see. And then scroll over to number 5, and you've got this one here, which is button function. So if we click that, at the moment it's set how I want it to, but what it basically does is it changes the shutter button of the camera to record instead of the itty bitty tiny little record button that you have on the top of the camera. So you press that, you no function, or yeah, start, stop, movie recording. Much easier to start recording a video. You just hold it in front of you, click the button, you're done. You don't have to faff with trying to just find a tiny little button. So that is that bit, really, in a nutshell. Simple. Is it not? Yeah. The M50. Lovely piece of kit. So good, switch back to it. It was a bit annoying. I had this, this clamp attached to my tripod with my phone through an app as a monitor for my camera. It's quite a cool app. Massive delay though, so I wouldn't want to use it for anything important. But it helped to get focus, which is all I needed for. Just got Snapchat. Exciting. I spoke about the exposure triangle. If you want me to do a video on that and I can explain it to you, if you're of any interest. If you don't know about it already, I know a lot of you who follow this channel are already photographers, but for those who aren't, I can teach you it. Do some little kind of like diagrams of the exposure triangle. It's quite easy. You could just Google it. Quite simple, really. So that was my thoughts and some little tips on what to do with your M50. I hope that helps, and I've got one more video planned, which is about these, which are extension tubes. Cheap little 30 quid extension tubes I bought from Amazon, inspired by a video from Thomas Heaton. He did some macro shots, and if you follow my Instagram, I've posted some recently of some of the DIY stuff that I've been doing around the house, some of the tools that I've been using, and I hope you go and check those out at Phipps Creative, which is obviously the name of this channel as well, kind of slightly. Yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget, everyone says this every single YouTube video, but my goal is to grow this channel, and with obviously more viewers that I get, the more videos I hopefully will be able to put out to you guys to watch my glorious, entertaining voice and humour, and hopefully some photography interspersed in with that, providing we can go outside again, because this lockdown is doing my head in, and there's only so much DIY I can think of to do, which isn't like ripping plaster off the walls and stuff, and I can't do that because B&Q's closed. So helpful. Right, cool. So like, subscribe, and yeah, enjoy. Catch you later. Bye.